Let's move on. 1 p.m. Eastern. Miami Dolphins 8-7, 3-5 on the road at New England Patriots 7-8, 3-4 at home at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. 55 Fahrenheit. Showers and 9-mile-per-hour winds is the situation for us here. Let's take a look at the line history for this one. And, of course, the huge story is, again, Tua Tagovailoa is in concussion protocol. So we don't know. No one really knows when it happened, but it happened. So there's an expectation that Teddy Bridgewater will be under center. This opened up on Christmas night at Pinnacle 544 with the Patriots +1. It's still just +1 at -106. I mean, there hasn't been a big move, I guess. Here there has been. Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at. Sorry, did I mess that up? Why would there not have been a big one there? A Pinnacle. Yeah, Pinnacle, there's been no move, but at the books that opened it up earlier, there has been. Patriots opening up at +2. This was opening up on the 21st of December. Now they're -2.5. So we have a -2.5 at BetOnline, a juiced -1, a Pinnacle. That's interesting. Let's take a look at the total here for this one. We'll stick with BetOnline here. Opened it up at 44, now at 42. It just dropped from 43.5 to 42 this morning. 43.5 to 42, 1.5 point drop. At Pinnacle, it opened up at 44, and it's still at 44, juiced to the under. Wow. So what a mess. Mac Beaver says, no way in hell NFL lets Tua start. Harold Williams says, fade the Dolphins. And Spenny says, Pats beating Miami and Buffalo to make the playoffs. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. They have given line value, the highest amount of line value on the card thus far, Sports Insights has, to the New England Patriots. 2,788 tickets in, 40% of the tickets, 86% of cash on the Patriots. 62% of tickets on the under. They don't have a cash flow number for that one yet. Dolphins coming off a 26-20 loss at home to the Packers. They've lost 4 straight games now, and they need 2 wins or a win at New England and the New York Jets to lose to Seattle in Week 17 to make the playoffs. 2 was 16 of 25 for 310 yards, a touchdown, 3 picks. They all came in the fourth quarter. Waddle caught 5 for 143. Hill caught 4 for 103. Mostert ran 8 times for 45 yards, lost a fumble. Wilson came in, ran 9 for 37 and a touchdown. The Dolphins had just 15 first downs. The defense did all they could do despite not getting much pressure. And 2 sacks, 3 quarterback hits, but they held the Packers to 301 total yards and 2 of 14 on third down. Hard to lose a game when you hold a team to 2 of 14 on third down. Miami's defense held the Packers to 6 points off turnovers in the second half. That was they also in the red zone. They held Green Bay to 2 touchdowns and 3 field goals. They played hard. Bradley Chubb hurt his hand. We don't know the extent of it. He came back in and it was fully wrapped. So we'll hear more about it, I'm sure, tomorrow. Eric Seabrook says the Dolphins will lose their remaining games. Gerald Jones says Tua done for the year. And Birdie says heavy lean here on the Dolphins, but no rush. Patriots coming off a disappointing 22-18 loss at home to the Bengals. They've lost 4 or 5. It's funny. I never feel any, of course, no one feels any remorse for the books. I couldn't give a fuck about the books. But for some reason, there's times when I feel bad for the Sharps. And I felt bad for them. You know, with the Sharps were all over the Patriots, and they should have cashed. And somehow they didn't. It was shocking that they didn't cover the 3.5. Cincinnati dominated the first half. 22 first downs for Cincinnati. Had more first downs than the Patriots had plays. But Belichick took the punch in the face, and they came back firing. Because New England had 3 first downs, 70 total yards in the first half. Everything changed in the second half. Mac Jones overall was 21 of 33 for 240 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jacoby Myers caught 6 for 83 and a touchdown. The Bengals shut down the run game, holding the Pats to just 16 carries for 61 yards. But the defense was strong. They held the Bengals off the scoreboard in the second half, held them to 2 of 4 in the red zone. Marcus Jones returned a pick for 69 yards. He's having a hell of a year. Devin McCourty also had a pick. Hunter Henry left in the first quarter with a knee injury, and he's listed as day-to-day. It wasn't nearly as bad as they thought. But Jonnu Smith, and the other tight end, is in concussion protocol. So Scotty Washington, if neither of those guys can play, fresh off the practice squad, will be TE1 if both players are out. There's Stimmy OG in the house. Great to see you, Stimmy. Rant says easy under. What does Andy say? Dolphins, Patriots, and a lot on the line.
I agree with the OG Stimmy. I do like this under. This Patriots defense is very good. Like, maybe not getting enough credit. It has been very good, and It's had to play some tough offenses. This is again, over the last I don't know what handful of weeks, it's been very above average against the pass. It's been least average or a little better against the run at times. And their offense hasn't been great. It's not a good offense at all. Mac Jones is not good. The people calling the plays are not good. It's a problem. That problem has been solved by their defense and special teams scoring a touchdown every week. It wasn't quite enough to get them by, but man, they really shored things up in the second half. The way that defense played last week in the second half, honestly, the way they played in the first half, it just the Bengals are a good squad. They made some great adjustments. They just didn't quite make enough adjustments on offense. I don't know if they have it in them, but I did play this under 42, so it's a nice look for me. Especially, it's not going to be Tua. Like they're doing, the Players Association has now stuck their nose in on this. The NFL has to kind of gird their loins and deal with this. And I know Miami's playing for a playoff spot, but they already lost a first-round pick for tampering. They can't get in any more trouble with the league right now. They can't go sending out a guy that is concussed. So if Tua's in, honestly, maybe I still like the under because I don't think he's 100%. But I guess if he was concussed, that makes me feel a little better about those picks he threw because those are just brain-dead throws. All of them were so bad. Just right to a guy. What are we doing here? So, this pass rush versus Teddy, give me an under 42. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and I think the issue with the lines I was giving you guys from Pinnacle is that they pulled it. So it was just before it was pulled, that's where they had it. But this game's been pulled from the board for them. So, yeah, the under 42 makes a ton of sense. We see 41.5 now at Bookmaker and Bet Chris. You can still get the 42 at a bunch of books. Yep. Heritage, second least amount of VIG, and then 5 times least amount of VIG at minus 105. So we will grab that. Fap Win making a move. I love Fap Win's action. He is on Houston versus Jacksonville, highest scoring half, the second for Fap Win. And I'm telling you, man, no one gives more winners than our guy Fap Win coming to us from Australia.
I'm gonna have to pull up my goddamn 5 Dimes account here.
Under 42 at minus 105 for Andy. This makes a ton of sense to me. An absolute ton of sense. If Tua's in, maybe it doesn't look as good as if Teddy Bridgewater is in. If Teddy's in, it looks glorious. We expect Teddy to be under center, or do we think there's a chance that Tua can clear protocol and be good to go here?
Really think that the movement isn't a halfway point line. I think it's a full this is Teddy line. Sometimes you can garner a little bit of information just for where they move the line right away. I think this would have stuck closer to maybe closer to a pick 'em if it were up. I don't know what's up. If it might be Teddy, it might be 2. I think this was the full move. So I think the books and the market in general is expecting him to sit this week.
I like it. I want to join you on it. What is keeping you off backing the Patriots here?
Oh, just like I've said, their offense is kind of rough. They've been buoyed by a punt return touchdown at a fumble or kickoff return. They've had some special teams and defensive help, which is a big part of what they do well. Like I said, it is a good defense. I expect them to rack up some sacks. But I think if you like New England, there will be money that pours into the market on them. Again, even though the number already moved and it shouldn't. But I do think if you like New England, you might want to grab them now because when they do finally announce it, I do think you see some New England money that might push it up to 3. And Teddy's great, but he's a game manager. I think you just try to lock down those receivers from doing anything too crazy. It's a good enough defense. They have the coverage pieces to. You can never truly stop Tyreek and Waddle. You just hope to kind of maintain them, keep them from popping off huge yak yards. So, it's going to be a lot of running, I think, from the Miami Dolphins.
We need to move on here, but I'm thinking of moving on 2 different spots here with both the under and the Patriots. Brady says, I wonder if we see scoring here. Bridgewater would be a step up from 2, and the Dolphins D is suspect. I have a feeling we see both teams hit 20 here. I was impressed with the Dolphins D in that Green Bay game, and I was extremely impressed with the Patriots against the Bengals in the second half. It is the Pack. What? Tell me your thoughts on the Dolphins D, because I thought they handled Tua's mistakes very well and kept.
I thought they've looked good, and they're another team too where they've been kind of rough against the pass, but they're another team that's been very good against the run. I think they're gonna kind of stop anything that New England's had some success running, so I think New England's gonna have to throw the ball. And whenever you say like, yeah, we need Mac Jones to really have a big game, that's not something I'm about backing. And we did see Teddy twice, 2 starts. So the Minnesota game wasn't a true start, I don't believe. That was Skyler started, and then he got knocked out right away. So he's 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, hasn't had a real good game either one. So I'm not expecting. I think 2 Teddy covers might be no more at this point.
He's not looked good this year. No. Love to know if you're on the side in this one, Birdie. I'm expecting to make the under and the Patriots a bet as soon as this show is over. Nasty Nate loving his Pats in this spot. I was really impressed with how they handled the Bengals in the second.